By the way, for those curious about this hat that I've been wearing the whole run, this is a Zelda-themed hat. As you can see, we got rupees here, a green, a red, and a blue. Danielle took me to the Nintendo store over the weekend, and this is what I got from the Nintendo store. There was a cooler looking hat that they had on display, but unfortunately that got sold out. Alright, what's the verdict? I just got a random DM with the first message being, would it be okay if we talk for a sec? There's like nothing on this person's bio other than this person just joined my server. Yeah, this person's the person that DM'd me has like no bio on their profile. I like checked their profile, there's like no bio. So me thinks that this person's just some rando. About LADX? Okay, no, it's not about links. It's not about LADX. It's about link selecting switch. Okay, so people in the link selecting Discord, they're talking about wanting to change some rules in a category in link selecting switch. So link selecting switch has a category called any percent no HW. HW stands for Hinox Work. It's a trick that involves using the Hinox to throw you to out of bounds and to the end of the dungeon. And there are 3 dungeons where Hinox Warps are used, because there are 3 dungeons that have a Hinox mini boss fight, and it is widely known amongst the runners of Link Selecting Switch that Hinox Warp is a ridiculously hard trick, which is why they made a category that called any percent no Hinox Warp. It basically bans just one singular trick in order to create a more friendlier any percent category for those who still want to run glitched categories of Link Selecting Switch but don't want to run any percent, because any percent is a really hard category. Like, there are actually now harder glitches that are harder than Hinox Warps nowadays, but before Hinox Warp was the hardest glitch, and then more glitches got found, and then they came up with a new trick. It's not new anymore, still recent. I think a few years ago there was a new trick called Early Dungeon 6, where you enter the Face Shrine dungeon through the backside by using the blue rooster to go out of bounds and hover your way over to the backside of Face Shrine. That trick is really hard and has demotivated quite a significant amount of people from grinding glitch categories, because Early Dungeon 6 is used in any percent, and then people are using it now in No Hinox Work. So recently, the discussion of wanting to ban Early Dungeon 6 in No Hinox Warp started popping up, because the whole point of why No Hinox Warps exists as a category is for people to have a more approachable glitched category for those who don't want to grind out any percent and think that any percent is just too hard. Now, any percent is any percent, like, no restrictions, so all things are allowed for any percent. There's no way you're gonna ban Early Dungeon 6 in any percent. You know, some people were in on the idea, others not so much. So then we ran a poll via a Google form on whether or not we should ban Early Dungeon 6. And so people started putting their votes in. I actually have not cast my votes. I have never ran a glitch category in Link Selecting Switch. I primarily only ran glitchless. I've expressed interest of wanting to do a glitch category, but I've never really had the time to put in the work on learning glitches. But eventually I want to. But then I heard about how hard Early Dungeon 6 was, and then I was like, okay, well, that actually killed my motivation even further into learning a glitch category. I wanted to learn the glitches because I wanted to do glitch hundo. I got really tired of doing glitchless hundo because my current PB is at a point where it's really hard to beat unless I have like really good luck and really good execution, because that's a heavily luck-based category. And you need to play as well as you can in order to mitigate the luck. And you can only do so much with glitchless. Anyway, so this Google form, it has your name, your speedrun.com name. There's a question that says, should Early Dungeon 6 be banned? And then there's another question of, if Early Dungeon 6 is allowed, is there a category extension that bans it? So you know how some games on speedrun.com have what's called category extensions, which are basically just meme categories that people do for fun whenever they don't feel like doing main categories. And then so there's a leaderboard called category extensions. A lot of games have this nowadays. So after the Google form was finished and then it got posted in the Discord, one person saw the Google form and responded, "The f is that? Since when do we do votes like that?" I saw that when I woke up one morning. That didn't sit right with me at all. And I'm pretty sure it didn't sit right with some other people as well. No, this person in particular is not a new member. This person has been part of the community since day one of Link's Awakening Switch. For some reason, this did not sit right with this person. The fact that the voting on a Google form did not sit right with this person at all. I don't know why. So I skimmed through some messages. This person did not like the idea of a Google form. They were like, I left the Echoes of Wisdom community because their votes were closed, whatever the heck that means. Somebody said a Discord poll could have been much better. Okay, that's fair. I did call them out in the Discord though, because to me it felt like bad behavior. If I see bad behavior, I will call it out. There's one message where this person said, well, I won't be affected because I have huge privilege in here. What the f does that mean? What does having huge privilege mean in this context? To me, that reads like you're entitled, like you're owed something in this community. What are you owed in this community? I get that you've been part of the community since 2019 when the game came out, and that you put in a lot of effort. You were the world record holder at one point. You being privileged, like, I don't know, to me that sounds more like what a privileged person would say. I'm just being cautious about the future of the community because I care. I literally said I'm not against the change per se. I don't get what that means, because to this person, there's a sudden change within how we do rule votes or whatever. So then I asked this person, can you explain where you're seeing the change? And then I emphasize asking nicely. They respond, how are you not seeing the change? You're just gaslighting me. I'm not gaslighting this person. Like, am genuinely asking a question, a very curious question. So then I showed this person some examples of how we've been doing votes, like similar examples of how we've been doing votes. I showed this person 3 links of Google Forms where it involved voting on something. This person said, these are tournament planning, and one of them is not Link's Awakening Switch at all. Does it matter? There's still similar voting formats. Like, it doesn't matter if one of them does not involve Link's Awakening Switch, and if the topics involve a tournament and not a category vote. Like, it doesn't matter. It's the format of voting is still similar. For some reason, this person made this whole thing out to be a pretty big deal, even though it really shouldn't even be a big deal at all. Voting through via a Google form has been what some communities do, depending on how the Google form is set up. Of course, obviously, you gotta make sure the form is formatted in a way where people can address, further opinions and suggestions and such. Discord poll can only do so much. And also back then, when we were settling with what kinds of categories Link's Awakening Switch could have back in the beginning of its speedrun era, we used Google Forms. Also in 2019, Discord polls weren't even a thing, so you didn't really have much other choices to vote other than Google Form, straw poll, which is very ghetto. So there were very few ways where people can vote on opinions. And I know for sure this person was part of that process. So I don't know why this person claimed that we are changing the way we vote on things when this was the case back in 2019. That is the story of early Dungeon 6 and the impact that it has on No Hinox Work.